The third and last right we will mention tonight, he says, وَيُعَلِّمَهَا سُورَةَ النُّورِ. The third right that the daughter has over her father is that he teaches her Surah Noor, the chapter called The Light. Why that chapter? Why? Well, look at Surah Noor. What do you find? You find that Surah Noor has many verses that revolve around the topic of what? Shyness, haya, iffa, chastity. In Surah Noor, Allah Ta'ala mentions at the beginning of the chapter the worldly punishment of the person who commits fornication, na'udhu billah. He mentions the punishment of those who accuse others of committing fornication without proof, of course, without acceptable proof. He mentions the issue of hijab. He mentions lowering our gazes. He mentions the issue of seeking permission when entering upon your relatives or entering upon your parents. So there are many verses in Surah An-Nur that are connected to the topic of what? Shyness, haya, and the topic of iffa, chastity. So the Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, وَأَنْ يُعَلِّمَهَا وَيُعَلِّمَهَا سُورَةَ النُّورِ. It is upon him, upon the father, to teach his daughter Surah An-Nur. When he teaches her Surah An-Nur, obviously in a way that corresponds with her level of understanding, in a way that corresponds with her age. When I'm talking to, for example, my daughter who's, let's say, 7 years old, the things I will say will differ with the things I will say to my daughter who's, let's say, 18 or 20, correct? But when the Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, that the father should teach his daughter Surah An-Nur, we understand that this surah has a great effect in pulling the human being towards what? Towards what is decent, and pulling him away from what is indecent. And here we're able to derive a general benefit, a benefit that pertains to everyone, men and women. If we focus on Surah An-Nur, we read Surah An-Nur and we understand it, obviously as a community, even the men will draw themselves closer towards decency and will push themselves away from indecency.